ratio. Most jams call for, and it's an exorbitant amount of sugar, most jams call for about 5 to 6 cups of fruit that you'll kind of mash, and 7 to 8 cups of sugar. Lots and lots of sugar inside there. Shop jars, non-reusable with plastic film over, no pectin. Is not safe for botulism. So the botulism, you don't have to worry about botulism in jam. That's a good thing. Let's talk about botulism here real quick. Botulism loves 2 things. First thing it loves, anaerobic condition. What happens when we put jars into a water bath canner or a pressure canner? We force all that air out and we create a vacuum. Now we have the perfect condition for botulism. And it's being stored at room temperature. Botulism check number 2. Botulism loves a temperature at about 50 to 78 degrees, but it will grow as high as 140 degrees. But it really loves that room temperature. So botulism's in there going, all right, I've got my anaerobic condition, check. I've got my perfect temperature, just sitting back here waiting for it to happen, check. But I'm in a high acid food, jams, jellies, pickles, and fruit. Botulism doesn't like high acid at all. Botulism wants a very low acid food. Botulism wants green beans. Botulism wants meats, your poultries, your hamburgers, your sausages, and stuff like that. So botulism in jam and jelly, don't have to worry about that. But you can get other molds and stuff growing in there if it's not sealed and cured properly. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. I need the sugar at a minimum. So CC Davenport, you can either do a long cooked jam, and you don't even have to can this. You could actually cook this and put it in your fridge if you just want to make like 2 or 3 jars, of jam. And it just means cooking it down until you get it to where if you put a plate, keep a plate in your freezer, like in your ice bin. Actually, a couple of plates I would, just those little itty bitty plates. Put them inside there. Cook your jam until it starts to get thick. Scoop a little bit out, put it on that frozen plate, and if it weeps around the edge and you get like this liquid halo around the edge, cook it a little bit longer. If it sits there and holds and it's like pretty steady, your jam is done. Put it in a jar, stick it in your fridge. You've got some wonderful, I'm planning on for a minute the honey garlic sauce. Should I heat it up to make sure it's safe? So 2 things with that. Are you talking about the ferment where they're taking whole garlic and putting it into the honey and letting it sit for like 6 months? Or with jalapenos? So think about this. Honey, high in sugar, and if you want the probiotics for honey, you don't want to heat it up. You don't want to cook it. You'll kill all those probiotics off. But when we take a low acid food like whole garlic cloves or jalapenos, and we put them into a jar and we cover it with honey, and we kind of give it a stir to get the air bubbles out, you've just created an anaerobic condition, a perfect anaerobic condition. There is fermentation that does happen and does begin in there, but we don't have sufficient testing yet to show that it's safe for consumption. So if I go to a restaurant where they've got that fermented honey on their pizzas or on whatever dish they're cooking, I won't order that dish. And that's just because of my training and my stuff. High acid is not so safe because mold grows. But remember this too, not all mold is going to kill you. Beauty by Gloria, hello, welcome on in. How are you? Love Toast, thank you so much for coming. And you have a wonderful Sunday. I hope that the rest of it is absolutely relaxing and wonderful. Absolutely relaxing and wonderful. So it can make you sick. What can make, the honey with the garlic, yeah, you could actually, that's one of the things, and garlic is now you're taking, so think of the, come on, we're cooking something up here. Let's do some science here, shall we? Well, not science, but I'll show you guys something. I'm going to get a big one off of here. All right. We have a clove of garlic. Hang on. Let me get my meat in here real quick. Let me get the hamburger. I love science, too. I have a fun thing with science. I wish I had more stuff where I could do, like, food experiments here with you guys. All right, so this is just a pound of hamburger. I'm going to add in a good amount of salt, at least a teaspoon of salt. We're going to add in some. There we go. Not going to need these anymore for the rest of the recipe. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this honey, and we're going to talk about. I'm just going to break this up a little bit. We're going to let this cook. I'm going to let this cook slower than normal. Normally, hamburger, what do? We fry it up. We want to get it done. I'm gonna let this cook a little bit slower for 2 reasons. One, I'm waiting for that custard to chill down, and 2, I wanna render out as much of the fat as I possibly can because I don't want it in the custard. I don't want it in the custard. Okay. My kid just noticed your pantry, her words, that lady has a disco party. Oh, Matron, I absolutely love your kid. So I have it on my list. I was gonna go check like the dollar store. So let me know if this is kid approved. I want you to turn around, I want you to ask them right now. I'm thinking about getting one of those small disco balls so that when I open up the door, I can have it spinning like right here and have a little disco ball spinning around. I gotta turn it like that. I thought that'd be kind of fun to do. She says yes. I like her. I like her already. She can help me. She can help do decorations. So this one's not going to be a good example, and I'll show you why. I hope this shows up. So now we have this wonderful clove of garlic here, right? This entire beautiful single clove of garlic. She likes you. Oh, heart your face, young lady. Heart your face, young lady. That is absolutely, so that's very nice of you to say. You just put a big smile on my face. Thank you for that. Thank you for that very, very much. That's a monster clove. Yeah, this isn't even one of those elephant where you get the cloves that are like this big on there. But this is a very tough-skinned vegetable, herb, whatever you want to call it. Chaos Zombie 999 coming in. Thank you so much for that. Welcome on in. You have a seat now over at the affinity table. So when you think, so what I want you to do, and you can do this experiment. Oh, let's do it. Let's do this experiment, people. Bam. Okay, I'm liking this. I'm already in a mood for this. So this is going to be. So I've got water up to about here. All right. Got some water going in there, and now. Nope, that would be almond extract. That's not going to help me. Uh-oh. Wait. Almond extract. There we go. Almond extract. Okay. Now, we have red food coloring. And I'm going to give it a couple of good doses. Ah, shoot. I don't mop that up right away. That's going to leave a mark. That sure did. A little bit of sandpaper later on. Take care of that. So let's give that a quick little stirry. Now let's add a little bit more. Let's keep the drips inside the cup. Okay, that's a good idea, Kenora. That's a great idea. Alrighty, so this is what our experiment is. This is what we're gonna do. So we're talking about doing the whole cloves of garlic in honey. This is a product that's grown in the dirt, okay? This is grown underneath the ground. Onions, potatoes, all of them. Botulism, now we do have infantile botulism, but that's a totally separate thing. Adults don't get infantile botulism, and that's one of the things you don't want to give honey to your kids. So, I mean, like young, like, under the age of 2. So we have something that grew in the ground that could be contaminated with the botulism, but it's not the botulism itself that's bad. It's when it grows and forms spores. It's those spores that are what make you sick and can give you issues. So this is a pretty leathery, but this one does have, if you'll notice here, I don't know if that's going to show up on there. There's like a little tiny thing where this thing is trying to sprout. So that's leaving a little bit of an opening for me. So what we're going to do, and we're going to check this on Wednesday. So I have a cup here. Whoop. Lots of red food coloring inside there and water. Clove of garlic. And I'm going to weigh this down. I'm going to put something on top of that and weigh that down. On Wednesday, we're going to cut it open. We're going to see how far the red food coloring dye goes in. I know it's going to go in through the top a little bit because I've got that crack there where the sprouts coming in. Let's add another one for good measure. Let's add a smaller one. How about that? Let's add a smaller one. My aunt would let food color. Oh, my mom did too. I used to love that. Okay, let's see which ones do we have here? Well, that one opened up, so we're going to take that one. That one's already. put these over here. So we've got a larger one. We have this medium one. Let's see if this one started to sprout. Yep. That's what happens with garlic. It starts to sprout. We're going to put both of them in there. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of saran wrap. I'm going to form a cone like this. And I'm going to push this in here like this. Open this up a little bit. And we're going to push this down inside underneath that water. I want it all the way down. And then I'm going to put my, let's see, what should I put on top of this to weigh this down? How about an old spice jar? Filled with just plain water. And I can't get to those. All right. What's going on? Let's see if this will hold it down. This is just an old jar I haven't filled back up yet. All right, so that's going to hold those down underneath there. Let's get you underneath there. Okay, so those, wait, I'm going to need two of those, aren't I? There we go. Okay, it's underneath there. I'm going to move this over here. We are not going to touch this now until Wednesday. I'll set that over there. And we will see how far in that red food coloring can get past that thick outer skin of the garlic. Nesquik has a rabbit, yes. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, Nesquik, yeah, Nesquik, you had chocolate and strawberry. Chocolate and strawberry on those. Oops, I guess I should get this. And then we'll start. I'm going to cool this down the same way as I did the custard, but this will cool down faster because I'm going to put it in the freezer to cool it down. And if I rinse it with hot water, I can then rinse it with a little bit of cool water, and that's going to help cool it down as well. We'll get some of that hot fat out of there because I'm not. Oh. Wait a minute, he closed the door. Hang on. Wait, I gotta stand this way so I can see. Whoop. That shows the kitchen window. There we go. I try to get the glare off the window for you guys. Oh, they actually have banana flavor too. Now, Ovaltine is chocolate, but it has malt in it, right? I never drank a lot of those. I never drank a lot of milk as a kid. I think that was my own body saying, yeah, you don't want this. You really don't want this. I was never a big milk drinker, but neither was my mom and neither was my dad. Neither one of them drank a lot of milk. But my dad, he is an ice cream fiend. He will have a big bowl of ice cream. And we actually call him, I won't give his full name because I don't want to give his last name. We'll say Smith. But anytime we have dessert, whether it's Thanksgiving, a birthday party, whatever we're doing for dessert, I don't care if it's pie, I don't care if it's cake. Dad, do you want a piece of pie? Oh, yeah, I think I'll have a small piece. Like, he has to think about it. Like, oh, am I full? Yeah, I'll have a small piece. Did you want ice cream with your pie? Yeah, just one scoop, And he'll eat that. And the minute he gets that done, you look at him, and he'll be kind of like looking over, like wherever. So it's, his name is Bob. So it's Bob, I'll just have a small piece, Smith, because he will have another piece of pie or another piece of cake and ice cream. He's a kiddo suggests that you add a Bluetooth speaker so you can dance in your pantry. I do have one on, I've got one on my own personal wish list that I was going to do. And I would do that, except I have to be really careful with the music we play. I don't get to play the cool music, my dear. I have to play, I've got jazz music on here playing right now, but we can't play all the cool songs because Twitch says we can't. Well, and the record labels say we can't. So I have to play different music. But I can see it now, just putting and have my phone out here with the music and having that little tiny, it's a little tiny Bluetooth, and it has really good sound. It's by JBL, really good sound. And of course, I put the red one on my list. But that would fit in there. We could play nice music. Nesquik and milk straight from the farmer's tank. Really? I've never had, okay, the only raw milk I have ever had was raw goat's milk. And that wasn't bad. It was low pasteurized though. It was low pasteurized. I've never had unpasteurized milk. Probably depends on, how your dairy cows are raised. The one I would talk to about that, I don't think she's here today, is Mrs. Window. She's also one of my mods. She lives in the state of Wisconsin, and she owns and runs a dairy farm. And if I was going to ask any questions, that would be the one I would ask. I love your dad. My daddy had to have his own personal big bowl of pudding. My dad would have like this big bowl of ice cream. Excuse me. Big bowl of ice cream. He likes his desserts. Also had large grazing range. Yeah, I don't know. So you grew up on a large dairy farm. I find that kind of stuff interesting to see the different perspectives, just because of that. She's small, but old enough to know the ratios about velocity, if that makes sense. I call her Tiny Human. I love that. Every day for lunch. I mean, you see them out there milking. I love it when they show the dairy farmer's out there milking his cow. Now, it takes her, because she milks I think twice a day or something like that, and it's a lot of cows. And I mean, she's got people that help and whatever. But I like it when they show pictures of like the cat sitting there and the guy's milking. Psst, the cat's over there going, "Oh yeah, that's the good stuff right there." Lord forbid I made deviled eggs. My brother and niece just teleported to my house. Oh, I love deviled eggs. But are yours truly deviled? Are they angel eggs or are they deviled eggs? Angel eggs are eggs that are very mild, maybe made with sweet relish or maybe just a bit of mustard. And then deviled eggs will have jalapenos, maybe a ghost pepper, a huge lunch and not let us bring it. Oh, I love that. I would do the Bose, but the Bose is about 2 to 3 times the cost of this one by JBL. And when you're retired, you're on a budget. I mean, I only work part-time through the university. And 2020 was a total wash on that one. That's okay. You know what? It's good to budget. It's good to budget. It's good to wait for things. Because then you really appreciate them. You really appreciate them. Like, I'm going to appreciate the new island when I find the one that I actually want. Topped with jalapenos and candied bacon. Bravo. Wait a minute. Right there, Rose. Right there. I love that. I love that. I call all children Tiny Human. My niece is the tiny dictator. Oh my gosh. Eric Vincent, I had to give milk every night I had to have milk every night with supper. It wasn't so great when you'd have pizza or Chinese takeout and a big glass of milk. Yeah, I think that would, I almost would think that I would rather, I can't do dairy. So, which is going to be interesting for this here. I'm going to have to pill up for this. But I wonder if I would have to drink the milk first and just kind of get that down. But then I wouldn't be hungry for dinner if I drank that much milk. I don't know. And Mary Todd, how are you? Oh, Wilson's stepbrother just said, oh no, it was vicariously through you who just said, I didn't see you come in. How are you, Mary? What is new in your neck of the woods? Okay, I'm going to get, all right, I want to get a flat chopper thing here. I want to break up these hamburger pieces into the smallest piece. I've been lurking for an hour or so. That's why I say to people, you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. You never know who's in your stream hanging out. That's what makes it fun though, you know? I can't see like a list of who's in stream. I don't see a count of who's in stream. That's not my focus. My focus is to stream. Hopefully you guys have fun. Hopefully you guys learn something. Have a good time. Visit with other friends and chat. That's what makes it fun. That's what truly makes a Twitch family. You know? For a while there it was back in August, I thought about doing like a pre-partner push in September, October. You know, and I got to thinking about it. That kind of takes the fun out of what you're doing because it becomes work. And I thought, I don't want this to be work. I want this to truly be fun and just be people hanging out having a good time. So that's what we're going for, guys. We are just going to hang out and have a good time. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get this small enough. Maybe I should have just done 1/4 pound of hamburger. I probably don't need a whole pound. I think that's going to be a lot of hamburger for this dish. Because you figure if it's, it's in a trifle, it's going to be in this bowl. So here's our trifle bowl, right? So you figure it's going to be inside here, so we're going to have lady fingers around the edge here and some in the center. They did not have seedless red raspberry preserve, so I had to buy, and I was going to buy some frozen raspberries and make my own quick jam to use on this, but they didn't even have any frozen. Do you eat venison? I had, Wilson, I had my first venison, he's not going to help me. Was it last week? One of my coworkers brought me in and gave me a pound of venison, and I made hamburgers. And I got to say, it was pretty tasty. So what I did for my hamburgers, because it's very lean meat, and you can overcook it really fast and it becomes very dry or very chewy. So what I did for my venison burger, it was a 1 pound of venison burger, and I think I did 5 tablespoons. I took a stick of butter that was frozen, and I grated a stick of butter on my grater and mixed it in with the meat, and my salt, my pepper. I had a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. I think maybe I had 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar in there, and I love that. What, Connor? What? I still got to figure. I've tried to do that. Connor, gosh dang it, Connor, my dear. Just come in and sit and have fun and relax. You worked hard all day. Can we get another shout out for Connor, the only deaf guy? Connor is an amazing young man, you guys. First of all, what's really neat, I think, is that I love the fact that now on Twitch that we're starting to see more streamers who have their hearing impacted, either fully, partially, since birth, maybe an accident, maybe an infection, don't know. But we're having more of that awareness on there. And I have been I've tried to get the CC thing working, and I think Casey mentioned something the other night that I think what I wasn't doing is I guess you have to go on to their site and turn it on their site before you start your stream. I thought it was just a thing. But this gentleman's over there working in his mom and dad's diner and cooking up, doing all the orders, washing dishes or whatever. He has the cochlear implants, these are permanent things that are put in that allow the sound. It gives you the vibrations of sound, correct? But if you guys ever have questions, maybe you'll see somebody who maybe is